We got big plans for today. I want to do something kind of special for everybody. I hope you guys stay tuned. If you enjoy the channel, like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, a little chilly this morning. Chico's curled up next to me. We are going to be up and out of this campsite we have today. It's not that we don't like it here, it's just it does cost money, and ultimately inevitably where we're at is pretty far away from any like convenience store or anything like that. And I'm not trying to get close to town, but I actually might just figure out something else. Don't know what yet, but excuse me, pretty early in the morning here. What I'm thinking is that I can go. A commenter had said something about maybe finding a farmer or something that needed a hand, so I may try to call a couple places and see if anybody knows any farmers. Harvest seasons and stuff like that, they always need help, even if it is just cleaning equipment and things of that nature. But this morning I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to talk about faith. Years and years ago, I was in Oklahoma City. I was on crew selling Green Life Wonder Cleaner. And the hotel we was at had a bar, and they were playing live music. And a man, excuse me, you guys. It's kind of early here. Anyway, the man performing this live music, he played a song. It was a really wonderful song. It's called "Wildflower" by Skylark. Had me in tears, Anyway, he got done with the song, and he come over, and he was right there next to me at a table with his wife or girlfriend, whoever it was, and I said, "Hey, what was that song you just played?" And he told me, and I asked him, I seen on his neck, he had just a little small cross necklace. And I asked him, I said, "Why do you wear that cross?" And he kind of looked up, but only for a split second. And he looked back at me and said, "To remind me." That's all I needed to say. I knew what he meant. The second thing, what I asked him after I asked him about why he wore a cross, I said, if there was one thing that you could put in my hand and give to me, and it'd be tangible, and I'd hold on to it. And this time he didn't just give me an answer. He looked up and he thought about it for a second. He looked at me and he said, "Unshakable faith." And at the moment, that was just right through me, And that unshakable faith, unshakable. Faith, I guess you would say, is the belief in things that are unseen. It's like the wind. We can't see the wind other than the wind in the trees, but we know it's there. We believe in it. And I want to talk about why we believe in faith, why we have that belief of faith. Like, we have faith to endure. We have faith to conquer. We have faith that things will get better. We have faith towards the future. What is a belief to you? I'm gonna explain it in my own way here, but if you would go in the comments here, what is a belief to you? What is that? A belief? Go ahead and do it now. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe. It would greatly help out. What a belief to me is, and I've got to talk about it for a second here, but a belief to me is, for example, if I have a belief, there's nothing that anybody could come along and say otherwise to get me to believe anything else. You see a lot of these people, they go from a non-denominational church and they go to a Catholic church, and then they go from Catholic church to a Pentecostal church. Excuse me. And then from a Pentecostal church to a Baptist church, and I'm like, oh, that's the best thing ever I've ever done. If you're able to do that, or if you're able to say, oh, well, I'm going to be Muslim, or you're going to do whatever, and you're shaken and stricken from what you have believed in, it's not a belief. A belief only becomes a belief until there's nothing that anybody could come along and say or do or show you to believe otherwise. A belief is something that is rooted inside of your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And until you get to the point to where, Jim Bob Sue can't walk over here and just say da 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 and then get you to think differently. A belief is something that you have firm grasp belief in. And there's nothing, like I said, that anybody can do to deter you from that belief. And going back to the unshakable faith that he talked about, I always think about, whenever I think about that unshakable faith, I think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These are three men that did not want to bow down to King Nebuchadnezzar's golden image that he set up when all the instruments were played. And, the king, he wanted to make an example of these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And you also got to think, when King Nebuchadnezzar's up there and he set out this decree, there's all these people that are sitting there in the multitude. But not only that, up there where King Nebuchadnezzar is, he has all his right hand men and all the judges and magistrates and sheriffs and everything, and they answered him. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they got bound up by the most mighty men of King Nebuchadnezzar. They weren't the peons, they were the mighty men. So these mighty men were downing them up. And King Nebuchadnezzar was so mad because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had said, we are not quick to answer this question. If our God is to deliver us, he will deliver us. And so he got mad, and he heated that fiery furnace that he was going to throw them in 7 times hotter than it was ever to be heated. That's pretty hot. 7 times hotter than a furnace is supposed to be hot, and the furnace is already hot. And so, as King Nebuchadnezzar's mighty men are dragging them to the furnace, those mighty men killed over and died because it was so hot. And in that moment, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they're looking at that fiery furnace. They're looking out at the multitude. They're looking up at King Nebuchadnezzar. And with unshakable faith, they dove into the fire. With unshakable faith. They laid down into the fire furnace. And King Nebuchadnezzar, he's up there on his throne. He's looking, he's like, hey, he's asking all his people, hey, did we throw 3 people in there? Below, I see 4. And the 4th is the image of the Son of God. And as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire furnace with their bonds released, there wasn't a hair on their head singed, not a smell of smoke on them. no ash. Their clothes were intact. And that unshakable faith, you know, in today's world that we live in is a fiery furnace, and it's 7 times hotter than it was ever to be heated, and it's hot, hot, hot. And we are walking in it daily. We're walking amongst this world in a fiery furnace of, you know, ideology, worship, you know, sin after sin after sin. You have people out here that go out of their way to cause other people harm. The chaos and wrongdoing in this world, there's too much for us to be going out and creating it. I want to challenge you all today to have that unshakable faith. When you're doing something that you normally wouldn't otherwise do, endure. Have unshakable faith. Don't allow the things of this world to hinder you from the ability to live a wonderful, happy lifestyle. I walk around and travel, and I see things, and I see people, and you know, when we're walking around in this fiery furnace, there is Him, He, our Lord, the Almighty. He's with us everywhere we go. I want to talk about one more thing, and I'll let you all go. There was this old comic from a newspaper that I seen, and you know, I think the newspaper was actually like a faith-based newspaper, but in it there was a man, and he's got his hands in his pockets. He's walking down the street. He's got his head low. He's got his collar pulled up, and he's not really paying attention. And there is a guardian angel above him, and that guardian angel is fighting a mass amount of dark figures. And the whole time, that man, he's just walking with his hands in his pocket, head down. He's walking down the sidewalk. That guardian angel is fighting off some of the most vile creatures. And it's amazing, because some days I feel like my guardian angel is doing the most for me. I pray for you guys. I pray that everybody's okay, safe, and well. I will let you all go. But first and foremost, Acts 2:38, everybody. Acts 2:38. If you don't know what it is, I challenge you to look it up and put it in the comments down here. Love you.